Friends, it's a pleasure to meet you all through this virtual session. Today, it's a very special day. We are today with the two senior professionals. We are going to discuss on one of the most historic development in our professional practice. Maybe we have heard about the stores like big stores from India is such a country where we have seen the development of business from small business to today large stores, especially retail. People go to retail only for one reason. It is one-stop solution. And when the country surges ahead, professional, I repeat, professional services also sought under one umbrella. And that is where the multidisciplinary practices takes a avatar, a different big avatar. We have with us two senior professionals, CAVV Sampath Kumar ji and CAPS Prabhakar ji. On behalf of each and every one of you, I take the privilege in welcoming both of them. Now, before I request the moderator, Prabhakar ji, to initiate the proceedings, I will request CAVV Sampath Kumar ji, who is a doyen on indirect taxes, to kindly kickstart this particular program on MDP. Over to Sampath ji.
My dear friends, today is a very, very important day in the sense the deliberations in an hours to come is with respect to multidisciplinary practice. What is meant by multidisciplinary practice? How it is going to affect a professional? That is all going to be discussed threadbare with a two senior experienced professional. I would like to introduce to this virtual meeting our senior brother P.S. Prabhakar ji. He did his schooling in one of the oldest educational institutions in Chennai in Mylapore, P.S. High Secondary School, and did his higher education at Vivekananda College in Chennai and also in Uri's College in Vellore. Then after his completion of his educational front, he had a short stint with United India Insurance Company, then headed the finance function as CFO in Oman United Insurance, one of the largest insurance company in Oman, and he is a partner, senior partner in a chartered accountancy firm, Messrs. Rajagopalan and Badri Narayanan, a firm in Chennai, and he is an editor in the monthly magazine or a information bulletin that is published periodically by the Society of Auditors, one of the oldest organization for the development of the professional activities of professions, CA profession and allied. And he is presently the president of Society of Auditors. I can add on like this for want of time to go to the topic early. I stop at this stage. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the entire audience. Mr. P.S. Prabhakar, sir. Dr. Gopalakrishna Raju, a member of a family of chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, and valuation professional, and also insolvency professional, and also a great teacher, sharing his knowledge at all points. With this overall brief, I hand over the entire proceedings to our senior elder brother, P.S. Prabhakar ji. Over to Mr. Prabhakar ji.
Thank you, Sampath Kumar. Thank you very much. We are having an interesting session ahead of us when we are going to be discussing the most discussed in the past 3-4 days within the profession, multidisciplinary practice. And I'm sure that there cannot be any better person to deliberate on the subject than Dr. Gopalakrishna Raju, who himself is a member of all the three institutes. Besides being an insolvency professional and evaluation expert, he is a one-stop shop himself, as he was mentioning. So we are going to be, I'm going to be asking a few questions which have been raging in the minds of the various professionals on this particular topic of multidisciplinary practice or multidisciplinary profession, where Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has notified the Form 18 so that you can add the professionals from other institutions, like, for example, Institute of Cost and Management Accountants and Institute of Company Secretaries, one member of actuaries, etc. And there have been extant provisions that have been made in the Act and the regulations themselves to discuss all these things and to know more about these things, and to probably get more clarity on things that on which we are not probably clear. We have Dr. Gopalakrishna Raju here, and I am told that Institute is going to be coming with some extant guidelines on this and probably on also an FAQ. But today, we thought when the iron is hot, we should strike it, and we should probably have Dr. Gopalakrishna Raju to explain to us. The first thing that I would probably like to ask Dr. Raju is, can you tell me what exactly is this MDP? Multidisciplinary profession is something that we understand as a phrase, but what does it mean in reality and in practice? Theory is one thing, practice is another. Can you kindly elaborate on your explanation on this MDP?
Sir, this is a very important question. All these years, till maybe on 8th of July 2021, when form number 18 has been notified, what is that? We'll see that. But the profession has only seen what is called a single disciplinary practice. Well, I am a chartered accountant, cost company secretary, but I am a practicing chartered accountant. That means I have been given license by the Institute of Chartered Accountants only to attest the financial statements. So can I also attest, can I also be a secretarial auditor? No. So can I also be a cost auditor? No, because I have the mandate only for one. So single disciplinary practice was the era. So far the era was a single disciplinary practice. But today, the idea is not that one single person can do multidisciplinary practice. Maybe all are not Shivaji Ganesan. Shivaji Ganesan is an avatar. So we can't expect every professional to actually handle multiple tasks. But the idea here is people should come together and offer a bouquet of services. So that is where all this started way back. I want to reiterate way back. And even recently, there is a formal definition also. And the younger sister, we call the Company Secretary Institute, 1980 formed institute. That is, they have come forward with regulation 165 capital A, defining multidisciplinary firm, which we can take it as a definition as of today. I'll also share with you what that definition is. But rightly, PSPG has mentioned that institute has to come out with multiple guidelines for it. So multidisciplinary practice means more than one professional coming under one umbrella. One umbrella, that means one firm, and offering a bouquet of services, not only the attest function with respect to one category of profession. So the multiplicity of services is what the multidisciplinary practice is. Of course, further questions I want to add based on how you take it forward. Over to PSP, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. We have been hearing the word disciplinary from the institute only in the negative sense so far. For the first time, we are hearing the word disciplinary in a positive sense. So, can you kindly tell me, is it a new thing that has suddenly been thought about by the institute or by the professionals or by the leaders of the profession, or has some work been getting done for some time? Because I don't think they would have probably come and like magic wand. They have probably unveiled the screen and shown this film just today. But I think the production must have been going on for some time. Can you kindly take us through the evolution of this particular concept?
Absolutely. It is like Bahubali 1 and 2, where the production was for a very long time. This started way back. We can say it is a three phase. Phase 1, 2, 3. Phase 1, it was restricted practice. That means we can't mingle with outsiders. No. You can't even share profits with other professionals. You can't bring work, solicit work through other professionals. So inflow and outflow. So inflow, I want to share work from other professionals, or my share I want to give it to other professionals. Outflow, both inflow is restricted before 2006. There are two main amendments which has actually changed the face of single disciplinary SDP to MDP. Before 2006, this was restrictive practice. From 2006 to 2011, Institute, not only ICAI, parallelly ICSI and parallelly ICMAI, all three, they have come forward to allow the attest professionals to also do corporate form of practice. I repeat the word, corporate form of practice. So a separate guideline was brought out in 2006, where I have to get the permission from the council, and as a practitioner, I can also be a director in a corporate form of practice, provided that particular object is vetted by the council. Then I'll go to MCA for all the other stuff. So this is the second phase, that is relaxation, with the small relaxation. Like for example, my mother and father, they belong to 50s, 60s era. At that point of time, boy and girl cannot see each other. Only photo may be rare. But during our period, we used to exchange photographs, but we can't see the boy and girl. But today, era is different. Today, they want to actually meet, greet, and then only they will confirm then, and then only they will tell the parents. So it is the era has changed. So similarly, 2011, that is the year where a very, very important amendment came, where recognizing even individual practitioners. I repeat, individual practitioners were also being recognized. And I want to make one observation here, that section 2(1) CA of the Chartered Accountants Act, similar amendment was also made in the Company Secretaries Act and the Cost and Works Accountants Act. Even today, institute name has changed, but the act has not been changed. Institute name is the Cost Accountants of India. The professional qualification or the suffix will be ACMA or FCMA, but the act is still today the Cost and Works Accountants Act 1959. In all the three acts, the firm was amended to say partnership firm under the Indian Partnership Act, firm under the LLP Act, and sole proprietor firm. Very important amendment in 2011. So post 2011, not only this amendment they have made, but very important, the part 1, that is schedule 1, part 1, item number 2345, they have amended. This particular amendment only has actually opened the Jurassic Park of MDP. The MDP gate is opened only because the item number 2345 was amended, where restriction to pay share in fees was only to a chartered accountant, not to others. Only to company secretary, not to others. Only to cost accountant, not to others. This was 2. They said, or they added others. So this is where the changes happened till 2011. Post 2011, this multidisciplinary practice has to take its shape, but it has to take its shape only not, I cannot make sound by waving one hand. It has to only by 2 hands. So therefore, Everybody have to come together. For your kind information, PSP sir and VBS sir, in the Chartered Accountants, the Institute of Chartered Accountants, as well as the Institute of Company Secretaries, as well as the Institute of Cost Accountants, there is a coordination committee called the three institute coordination committees there. And today, lot of work has to be done with that particular committee. Over to you, sir.
Dr. Raju, you were mentioning about the first schedule, Part 1 CA Act, items 2, 3, 4, 5. And what are the significant changes between the pre-amendment and the post-amendment, especially with reference to the regulation 53A and 53B?
Wow. Actually, we have we can call this as a Tridev or Trimurti, and a similar amendment in the CA regulation 1950, the Company Secretary Regulation 1982, and the CMA Regulation 1960. In all the three regulation, exact wordings will be there. I will say 99% will be same. That is, sir mentioned about 53A and 53B. A similar regulation is 168A and 168B in the Company Secretary's regulation, and a similar regulation is in CMA Regulation 111B and 111C. Now, what is it? There, with respect to item number 4 of first schedule part 1, this is common for all the three acts, which says that entering into partnership was prohibited other than my own brother and sister, professional brother and sister, where they have said, or you can also enter into partnership with hexagon professional. That is six kind of professionals you can enter into. Number 1, who are those hexagon professionals? They are called MPB. Remember, the point is MPB means member of the professional body. So that means qualified company secretary, I cannot enter. They should be member. Qualified cost accountant, I cannot enter. They should be member. So member of ICSI, member of ICMAI, and Bar Council of India member, engineer. And here the word engineer, they say member of Indian Institute of Engineers or an engineering qualification in a university in India. So there is no membership required. Architect under Indian Institute of Architect, and actuary under Indian Actuaries Institute of Actuaries of India. And for your information, G, Architect Act is 1972, but the Indian Institute of Architect is a society even today. They are not a statutory body, they are a society even today. So that means this hexagonal partnership was amended in 2011. Today, I mean this month, 8th of July only, government has given sanction or accorded the authority that yes, you can invite outsiders, that means outside your profession, to invite to your firm to become member. Similar amendment with respect to that has to be done even in the Company Secretaries Act and in Cost and Works Accountants Act. Good, sir.
Very interesting, very interesting. Now, tell me, Dr. Raju, I can understand, thought process, sync of the thought process between the professionals like cost accountants and company secretaries with chartered accountants, even to some extent with lawyers. And you are mentioning that there have been reciprocal provisions in the Institute of Company Secretaries Act as well as in the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants Act. There have been reciprocal provisions, maybe small changes here and there are there. But first of all, and there are no regulated entities for engineers, as you mentioned rightly, and there are no such probably regulations having statutory recognition for both Institute of Actuaries as well as for Institute of Architects. I know Bar Council, of course, they have their own statutory body governing that profession. What do they say? What about the Bar Council? What about the regulations governing? And what about the engineers where there are no regulations at all? And the subset of this question is, I can understand as I was mentioning, we can probably, sync our professional interest with cost accountants, company secretaries, and lawyers, and to some extent actuaries. But what can we do with engineers and architects?
Very good questions. I think I have many things to share. For example, today there is a concept which has been brought out by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. that is called financial reporting, will only take 1/3 the weightage, and 2/3 weightage will go to the environmental reporting and the social reporting. And environmental reporting means to what extent I'm damaging the environment and what extent I'm contributing to it. So social capital, human capital, and all this stuff, energy, and most important, how far I am actually, am I using a renewable energy or a non-renewable energy? For all this, I need the help of technical and engineers today. They are the right people to actually support. So therefore, very rightly, PSPG, you have mentioned whether there is any restriction. Actually, only we, our three brothers and sister bodies, CA, ICA, ICMA, ICSI, only we have that statutory body status, and also actuary, they have the statutory body status. Number 4. Now, in actuary, there is no restriction at all. So that means they are totally open. Maybe they have to bring a condition saying that, okay, you can do it. So as of today, they have not restricted. Engineers, they have not restricted. So architect, they have not restricted. Very good. So with respect to engineers, architect, and actuaries, there is no such restriction. But with respect to advocates, very interesting part is we have part 6 of Bar Council of India rules. Part 6 of Bar Council of India rules, chapter 3, rule 2, which speaks about conditions for rights to practice. There is a restriction that an advocate cannot enter into a partnership with other than an advocate. So they have been, so what we were pre-2006, it continues with respect to the Bar Council of India rules. So I feel that this is one step we have come forward. I'm sure the other professional bodies in India, they will also take one more step. But one very good thing is we have been the pioneer. We have taken the first step, being a 1949 body and being a pre-republic institution. I think it is right that we have taken the first step and being a pioneer for others to follow. Over to you, sir.
Dr. Raju, you were the way in which you were explaining makes us feel that in order to obtain competitive edge in this world, we will have to probably have all the kinds of professionals. For example, you are talking about energy audit and those people who are having. Why does the institute not think, or why does the profession not think of actually, having a sync with organizations like ISACA and institutional valuers, which are also very important, because I think we are having more of synergy with them. In fact, computer professions today, everything is computerized. Everything you are going system based, and unless you have some kind of a system audit done, or the audit of the original software that are being employed by the various industries and companies are done, we are not very comfortable signing the balance sheet because we don't know what is happening in the back, in the back end. Can you kindly explain to me on this?
Sir, I fully concur with your views. The emotion at which you want to connect, actually I am with you. But there is a challenge. The challenge is maybe at the time of drafting, this concept of 2011 amendment, this item number 2345 got amended in 2011. At that time, even Companies Act 2013 was not there. Number 2, these insolvency bankruptcy code, and number 2, the registered valuer, the only from 2018 it has actually opened up. So all these are new. My view, I am actually with you that the hexagon should become octagon, because along with member of ICSI, ICMA, advocate, engineer, architect, actuary, there should be 2 more professional, insolvency professional and registered valuers also. And maybe we can make an octagon to nanagon also, or a decagon, and we can even go to dodecagon also. So where the computer professionals. I believe computer professional will come under engineering. So therefore, octagon will be a very nice way of bringing it, because with respect to sharing of fees, paying a share in our fees. So somebody else is soliciting work for us, so we want to share fees. Similarly, accepting profit. So I delegate work to somebody and they bill and they give a share to me. Can I do so? Yes, it is legally permissible now. It is legally permissible now as per first schedule part 1 item 2 and 3. There they mention, sir, very, very important. I want to bring it to your attention that there they say, can I pay share in my fees to whom? They say you can pay share in fees to MPB, member of professional body, that is octagon members, or you can also share fees to PQI, person having qualification in India. They are octagon. 8 people you can share. Now, for example, company secretary, not a member. He is a final qualified. He is final qualified but not a member. He is a final qualified but not a member of Institute of Cost Accountants. Can I solicit work from them or share fees or share profits? Answer is yes. Person qualified in India. They are octagon. Who are the 8 people? So we have the Lakshmi avatar, the 8 avatars. Like that, we have this 8 qualification. What is that? Company secretary, a CA can actually enter into arrangement or partnership with these 8 persons qualified in India. CS, cost accountancy, actuary qualified, Bachelor of Engineering. Bachelor of Engineering, most important point I want to share it with you, that that should be in university established by law in India. So BE, BTech, BArch, Architecture, BL, and MBA. And MBA should be university in India or technical institute approved by AICTE. They have so far not approved any foreign qualification, but you have a particular provision in CA Act, CMA Act, as well as in CS Act, Section 29 reciprocity, 38 reciprocity. Those provisions so far council has not intimated here. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Dr. Raju, see, in the Form 18 that has been notified last week,
yeah,
it talks about, I mean, it signals a possibility that as a chartered accountant firm, I can invite a company secretary or a cost accountant to be my partner. As similar forms have similar forms been notified by the other institute, suppose a chartered accountant wants to go and join the company secretary's firm or a cost accountant's firm, is that reverse engineering possible? In
today it is not possible. So as I told you, sir, maybe MCA they go by the round robin technique or by some ascending order. So 1949 Act first they will approve, then they will go for 1959 Act, then 1980. So similar amendment we are expecting. So it is a good time that this session is only to bring such awareness and dimag ki batti jalane ke liye, so to make awareness to our fraternity. This has been done. So very good point you have raised, sir. It will come. So today only one side it is possible. The other side I cannot go and join there. They can come and join here.
I'm going to ask you a very important question for which I need a very exhaustive answer from you, because we are very excited about the whole thing. It looks like it's very exciting, but I really want to know what are the challenges in the actual implementation that we think that you think that we need to address in the whole implementation process of this. Because I mean, as you rightly said, we have been talking from 2011, 2016, and all that. From I think 2006, the whole topic started when there was a white paper that was published regarding the multinational. From that onwards, started, and in fact, as our past president Mr. Manoharan also wrote an article long time back in the Institute magazine on this. Based on your experience and with the institute's activities and the professional arena, tell me what are all the challenges that you foresee in the actual implementation?
Sir, number one, actually there are very similar to hexagon. I want to share minimum 6 challenges, and I'm sure these 6 challenges will be aptly addressed both by the regulators as well as by government of India appropriately. Number one, so far, all the 3 institutes, we have been focusing only on regulating the individual professionals, not the firms. So far, that is the reason individual branding is there for our professional. Firm branding is not there. And this is right time where we have to understand that the purpose of a multidisciplinary practice is to bring all the pool of talent together with a name, with a brand name, so that our Pradhan Mantri made this point some time back that we definitely in the days to come, we will have Indian multinational firms. I repeat the word, sir. Indian multinational firms, not multinational firms having their offices here. An Indian firm will have a multinational presence across the globe. I think that is the idea first here. Second, when we are thinking in this positive lines, there are a number. I will start from a step 1 challenge to the biggest challenge. Step 1 challenge is when 2 professionals, they want to do attest function under one brand, it is a challenge. Why? Because of conflict of interest, number 1. So we can't do that. Like for example, can a statutory auditor be an internal auditor? No. Same is the case, a statutory auditor cannot be a cost auditor, or the same brand cannot be there. And we already have this concept also in the Companies Act, and very widely, very vigorously been mandated. So therefore, this is a place where the next step of multidisciplinary practice is networking, where the multidisciplinary practice, with respect to certain, they will have the multiple talent. For example, no, I'm only a statutory auditor. I'm only good in Ind AS. I'm only good in tax. No, I need the talent with respect to tax, with respect to corporate law, with respect to information technology. Because today, if I have to do a statutory audit, all this talent is required. And most important, today we are moving towards BRSR reporting, that is business responsibility and the sustainability reporting. So there, it is not only my accounting knowledge or my tax knowledge will help me. I need a multi-talented firm. So that only can give me the confidence, the assurance to actually sign as a statutory auditor. The attest and consultancy cannot go together. So this is what second challenge. First challenge is firm branding has to grow from an individual branding. And when firm branding grows, so far all the 3 institutes, their disciplinary mechanism was only towards individual professional disciplining, not for firms. If at all firms does anything, the blacklisting was only done by regulators, by banks, by Reserve Bank of India, by Enforcement Directorate, by the PFRDA, or by IRDA. They were only doing the SEBI. They were only doing the blacklisting, but not our own professional body. They were not doing the blacklisting. So regulating firms is very important in multidisciplinary practice. Attestation and consultancy, as of today, we have challenges in the law itself to do it. So multidisciplinary will definitely throw more challenges. Third,
one second, sorry to interrupt. Even now, I think a statutory auditor can do a secretarial audit.
Statutory auditor, no, sir, no.
Are you sure?
Yes. Okay. Good. Now, single umbrella multi-audit. So a single umbrella multi-audit is is actually a very good concept-wise is good. And from a client side, okay, he will feel it comfortable. Sir, partner A will sign secretarial audit. Partner B will sign the statutory audit. That looks theoretically good. But the attestation license lies with the individual act. So therefore, single umbrella multi-audit will always be a challenge with respect to this. Maybe non-attest function with single attest function is what possible today. And most interesting part here is can the existing firm convert into a MDP firm? Today, that is this 108, that is the 18 form number 18, where you can add partners in your existing firm. I repeat, you can add partners in your existing firm. So there is no concept called conversion of your existing firm to multidisciplinary. But how do you distinguish non-MDP with an MDP? So that is where the firm itself should be like, for example, private limited or public limited. We need to have it is called an MDP firm or just a firm. So like that, some classification has to be brought. Similarly, the concept of majority partners, for example, with respect to cost audit, with respect even today, a cost accounting firm can take chartered accountant as a partner, can take chartered accountants as a partner, can take, for example, a company secretary as a partner. Even today, a chartered accounting firm can take, before this form 18 came, they can take, but this form was not there. We have to only intimate that the others are non-professionals, that's all. But today, the form very clearly says a CS in practice or a CMA in practice. But that doesn't have a standing with respect to MDP. Only from one side we can say MDP. But point is, the law in Companies Act with respect to secretarial audit or cost audit or statutory audit, they mandate very clearly that that respective firm should have majority of the partners as chartered accountant to certify as a statutory auditor. Majority of the partners should be company secretaries to certify as a secretarial auditor. Similarly, majority of the partners should be a cost accountants to certify as a cost auditor. This still holds good. So this is an area where maybe MCA, Government of India MCA, has to actually come out with seniors in the profession have to definitely give some idea with their experiences so that this model can actually made workable in the name called MDP. Over to you, sir.
See, you are mentioning to me about even today, the word majority of the partners should be chartered accountants. It is mentioned in the Chartered Accountants Act. Similarly, the majority of the company secretaries, majority of the cost accountants already are mentioned, which means even before this MDP formally comes in with Form 18 and all that, it was possible for a chartered accountant firm to have a cost accountant or a company secretary as a partner. Similarly, for a company secretary firm to have a chartered accountant or a cost accountant, same thing applies to this. Which means the whole thing, the whole concept of MDP, is it now to attract only engineers and valuers and architects and other professionals? Because already these professionals, so-called, these three sister institutions are already having some kind of a statutory approval to have inter-qualified partners, interdisciplinary partners. Can you explain to me on this? I don't understand. So then what is the big excitement about?
Sir, 2011 itself, these things have been opened up. And even though the law was restricting, I want to make one observation here that because of the Companies Act restriction, all the three institutes, they brought a guideline, a council guideline that with respect to you can convert your existing partnership into LLP, or you can even bring other non-professionals also as partners. But even though that guideline was providing, none of us were coming forward. That is the reality. PSP, sir, the reality is 2011 Act was amended and it is very well there. And maybe a few, they want to actually try this, but because of what you call it as, maybe since you have made that point very clear, I want to bring a solution to your query. The solution is we need a super regulator. And who that super regulator is? The super regulator will have two important functions. Number one is these three professional bodies, they were only regulating the members, not the firms. So we need a super regulator like NEFRA. Today, National Financial Reporting Authority, they left and right, they question the firms, not the partners. They question the firms. Are you following the respective norms with respect to the quality control? And what is your audit file? So far, we didn't had these kind of super regulator to question the firms. And I think the time has come where the super regulator should regulate these firms. Number two, and the super regulator will be the regulator to bring in a code called MDP code. And this MDP code will give clarity on many aspects. Number one, the brand. Now, if at all I have Srinivasan and Co., that's a very common name. And if you take all the three institutes, there are 3 Srinivasan and Co. registered. So therefore, can I develop a brand called Multidisciplinary as Srinivasan and Co.? Difficult. So I need an MDP code where I will get a unique brand. Second, with respect to empanelment. With respect to empanelment, the code should very clearly mention. The empanelment guideline itself will change. More the multidisciplinary partners, the weightage should be given more. The weightage should be given more, and the scope will expand like anything. Scope will expand like anything. When the scope expands, I repeat, sir, when the scope expands, the necessity to regulate that particular firm with respect to the respective audit each of them are doing. For example, today, theoretically, we can say that under one brand, there will be 3 partners who will be doing 3 attest function from the 3 institute. But today, reality is not so. So therefore, we need a code where it will very clearly say how the 3 institutes will be having their say with respect to their members and how they will regulate it. So as of today, it is a first baby step taken that multidisciplinary practice is possible. But if you have to really see the fruit of it, we need 2 things. One is a super regulator. Number 2, a code under which each vertical will be operating within that particular code. So that will be the only answer. So every now and then we'll only be going. For example, today we are only seeing one. It is only copycat. If 53A is amended, a similar amendment is there in 168A. Now 165A capital A says about the multidisciplinary firm definition. We don't have a definition in the Chartered Accountants Regulation Act. So this question, now there is one very interesting question. I will start with 165A since this question has come. 165A starts like this. A member in practice, 165 regulation of the Company Secretaries Regulation 1982, which was amended last year. I repeat, which was amended last year, 3rd of February 2020, starts like this. A member in practice, it doesn't say firm. So that means a company secretary in practice may form multidisciplinary firm. So a member to firm with a member of other professional bodies. So this is the starting point. Today, we don't have such a definition in the Chartered Accountants Regulation, Cost and Works Accountants Regulation. Very clearly, 165A says a member may form an MDP, an MD multidisciplinary firm. So this is the starting point. So very clearly they say, with regulatory guidelines of the council for functioning and regulation of such multidisciplinary firms. So section is there, but still the council has to come out with the respective guidelines. Over to you, sir.
Dr. Raju, I think we are already covering, we have already covered a lot of ground on the whole thing, and we are, 45 minutes since we started. But I would like to ask my last question. Please do not think it's a very mischievous question. There is a perception that the whole process of this MDP or whole concept of MDP is perhaps to legalize what the multinational firms are already doing, and that it will probably not help the mid-sized firms or the small-sized firms in any manner. So this is one perception that is being talked about. And with this background, how do you think, what do you think will happen in the days forward, in the coming days, and how do you think the whole thing will be taken forward?
Sir, it's a very important question. And my perception is this is actually a gateway. And today's youngsters, I just want to share with you one example. Today's youngsters, their thought process is not maybe. I belong to an era where I am in between. So my father is a chartered accountant. My parents are chartered accountants. So their thought process was different. My thought process is different, and the current generation thought process is different. So for them, the practice is they want to actually explore new areas, new avenues, new. So not only the traditional practice. Traditional practice is attest function. So other than attest function, what are the other areas? So this is what is actually triggering point for the youngsters. And when the triggering point is there, we have to have an ecosystem facilitating that thought process. And I'm sure maybe if the thought process is traditional, we'll only be thinking about a single disciplinary practice. But we have to integrate, we have to interact, not within ourselves, but with our co-professionals. If we have to coexist, we need to be a team. We need to work as a team. And it is our alma mater who has to facilitate us with respect to this. And as senior, as part of the profession, it will be our endeavor to actually advise and suggest and give the pointers also to our alma mater that these are the areas how we have to take it forward. And I'm sure the elected representatives and people at the helm of affairs and Government of India are very open with respect to this, because they need a solution to take it forward. And already that process has started.
Okay. We have discussed a lot of points, and you mentioned during the course of your commentary, you were mentioning about the action on the firm, this NAFRA taking action on the firm, and the individual discipline mechanism and all that. The ethical framework of the professional bodies being very different. For example, the ethical framework for the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is even different from the ethical framework of the Cost Accountants India and Company Secretaries. But at least these three have something in common in the code of ethics. But you look at the other professionals, like for example, engineers and architects and actuaries. I do not know whether they have such similar exacting, demanding ethical framework. And when the ethical framework is not going to be uniform, how can even a super regulator come and take action if at all there is not going to be, if there is not going to be for exclusively for MDPs.
Yeah. So this is one place where I was referring to a MDP code, and all the professional bodies under this MDP code, they have to sync with their practice, their framework with respect to the common framework in the MDP code. And I'm sure you have brought out the main point. When we three institutes, we have a very strong ethical framework. How about the other? And one, for example, Bar Council of India, they have totally barred with respect to having partnership with others. I think they are also having their minds open, how they can actually maybe open up. So this thought process will go on. And I'm sure people at the helm of affairs and also Government of India, and both the legal ministry and the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, I'm sure they will come out with a solution. And this is a place where, as institute, we need to actually give the respective framework as a model, and that can be taken forward. And it's a right point what you have mentioned, sir. MDP code is the only solution.
Thank you, Dr. Gopalakrishna Raju. It was very illuminating and very interesting points that you have brought forward. And of course, I think as you rightly mentioned, even though Form 18 has been notified and amendments have been made, a lot of ground has to be covered in the whole process. And we need to probably have more discussions. And since I head the Society of Auditors today, I think probably we will have some kind of a open house debate in the Society of Auditors also very soon. Virtually it is possible. So I think so that more points can come forward, and probably we can even bring some sitting Central Council members to for this session and have their viewpoints also. Bring somebody from the Big Four also. So probably we will have some kind of a round table. We will probably soon have that. And thank you very much. And I need to know whether if there are any questions from the audience side.
Yes, I'll request Sampaji to maybe filter few of those questions, and maybe we can take a few of them.
Dr. Raju and Prabhakar sir, it's very nice deliberations and very glad to know about the kind of the questions and also the pointed responses taking us through the entire process. There are a couple of questions. One of the first question, though Raju you highlighted, there are certain questions. There are 3 A, B, C. A is one profession, B is another profession, and C is a sister profession. Whether if they join together under the MDP, will it impact the practitional scope? For example, a chartered accountant is including company secretary and a cost accountant. Their individual practice will get limited, or will that be the same if they apply for any audit function under the
Sir, this is too early to answer this question because from only one perspective I can answer, because from the other two perspective we need a very clear cut. For example, there is we need FAQs from all the 3 institutes with respect to these kind of questions. So maybe from one perspective only I can give an answer. And as of today, the Act itself restricts. You have a mandate that within one particular, you cannot have common partners. You cannot have the same firm cannot do both the audits. So naturally, the Act itself has the answer to this question. The objective is not that multidisciplinary practice firm should do multiple attest function. I repeat the word multidisciplinary practice. Idea is not to do multiple attest function. The idea is we must have all the talents in one particular place. But how to address the multiple attest function has to be addressed by the respective professional bodies. As a member of one professional body or having a license with one professional body, we may not be in a position to answer this particular question. Next, sir.
So can a CA and CS practice both the profession? Having joined as an MDP, a company secretary will have a practice as a company secretary and also chartered accountancy by the chartered accountant under the banner. That is one question.
So today, even today, say I am a multi-qualified. Now, why all the 3 institutes, they have a restriction that you can only practice one profession? Number one, the only answer is conflict of interest. So conflict of interest should not happen when we take up a job. That is why this particular restriction is there. And keeping this in mind, the MDP code will be framed. Maybe today we will have in the form of an FAQ, in the form of a guideline, in the form of a circular, or in the form of an order, whatever it is. But in the days forward, all these will form together into an MDP code, and that only will decide the future. And maybe our children will be fortunate enough to see that particular day, like what we are discussing today. Our future generation will get the benefit.
There is a question, though it is simple, but I want you to share your points on that. Can form a firm? Anybody can form a firm with lawyers, engineers, and CFAs? That's a question.
So CFAs they have not included in the list, in the octagon list. In the octagon list, CFAs are not there. And I want to make one observation here. Partnership alone is prohibited. Under partnership alone, for advocates is prohibited. But with respect to accepting profit or sharing or paying or sharing in fees, with respect to persons having qualification in India. So there they mention BL, the Bachelor of Law. So there they have not mentioned that they should be member of Bar Council of India. Only if you are member of Bar Council of India, then with respect to Part 6, Chapter 3, Rule 2, condition for right to practice will come. But I am only a qualified, I only have graduated Bachelor of Law. Can I share work with a graduate in law, or can I accept profit from a graduate in law? I can do so. And only with respect to entering into partnership, the part 4 relaxes. The item number 4 of part 1 first schedule relaxes, but with respect to their ethical, their code of conduct, there is a restriction. So except for partnership with the advocate or member of Bar Council of India, with respect to sharing of work and soliciting work, there is no bar.
Dr. Raju, whether multidisciplinary firm can coexist as a firm when simultaneously the individual partners in that may be permitted to practice individually also, whether that scenario is considered or looked into?
As of today, my view is when you are allowing a company secretary in practice to join a CF firm, a cost accountant in practice to join a CF firm, today it is possible. We have got the model. Now, whether they can independently practice in their name or in their firm name, for example, how they will attest? Will they attest as a multidisciplinary firm? No, because the license is given only in their individual name. So therefore, as of today, the what exists is they can do their individual practice in their individual name as a company secretary or as a cost accountant, and only they have to keep in mind the conflict of interest. So as of today, it is possible.
The similar offshoot of that, when 3 different multi-professionals are joining in a firm, if there is a lapse or for any reason by one of the professionals belonging to company secretary or CA, which disciplinary mechanism will be applicable? Whether it is he is a partner in a firm, CFO, or a multi-MTP, you highlighted this point differently. There is a question I want you to address specifically for the query.
Sir, point number 1 here, it is only individual disciplinary mechanism, but we need to understand one thing. If at all MDP happens, will it be under Indian Partnership Act or under LLP? The objective of LLP Act is only to bring multidisciplinary partnership, multidisciplinary talent. So therefore, it will be under LLP Act. We'll presume that it is under LLP Act. The moment it is under LLP Act, with respect to anything which has been done by any one of the partner, the firm is also liable for penal action. That is under LLP Act. So we need to also understand that LLP Act also we need to consider while we are addressing these issues.
There are
Dr.
other,
Raju,
yeah. So please,
Dr. Raju, one quixotic question. As I was thinking, you said that today in Companies Act it is possible to have a one-person company. Suppose I am a chartered accountant and I am also a company secretary. Can P.S. Prabhakar, chartered accountant, be a partner with P.S. Prabhakar, company secretary, and do multiple attest function in a multidisciplinary practice scenario? Why should I have a different person? If I have the qualification myself, I mean,
No,
as I was mentioning, it's a very good question.
Sir, PSP is a chartered accountant and a company secretary, but license is only given from by ICA, not for practice as a company secretary. But can you be a partner in a company secretary firm? Yes, today it is possible. All the 3 Act has been amended. But can you attest? No, you cannot attest. Only the individual company secretary who has been given license to practice, they only can do it. The other part,
where is it prohibited? Where is it prohibited? Multiple attestation, where is it prohibited?
Sir, with respect to whenever you are getting your certificate of practice, can I get 2 certificate of practice from 2 institutes parallelly? No, it is not. And your all the 3 Act, they prohibit that you have to only have a certificate of practice with respect to only one profession. So this is one area where the respective Act has to actually consider. Now here, multidisciplinary firms, the definition is only multidisciplinary firms, not with respect to an individual practicing one person doing multiple jobs. No, that is not the definition of multidisciplinary firms. Multidisciplinary firms means a member in practice may form multidisciplinary firm with a member of other professional bodies. This is what the definition is. So not otherwise.
Raju, you have highlighted the entire discussion based on the ICAI perspective of entire evolvement and whatever changes. What are the corresponding any changes had it been taken the similar amendments under the respective sister organizations or bodies like CS or CWA?
Sir, today that post Pradhan Mantri's stand that India should also come out with a Indian multinational accounting firm. This all these work has been happening quite fast in the ministry level, and I am sure these connect between. See, all these years the professional bodies were acting as an island, and a connecting point between these three professional bodies is this multi-disciplinary firms and setup of this multidisciplinary firm. This is one, I will say, the astram of Government of India in integrating the vision of course, the vision of each body, professional body, is to enhance the profession and to give the support. So therefore, this is one astram, or it is one very important tool whereby integrating all the three institutes together, not only in the process 3, but also the other professional bodies. So it is a very good initiative. We have to actually wait and see how these multidisciplinary practice can be taken forward with respect to the challenges alone. As far as with respect to the present situation, you can bring your other professional brother or sister into your firm. But with respect to doing multiple attest function, that is where we need the approval from the Government of India. So let us wait and see. So with this, I will hand over the session, and on behalf of Prabhakar ji, back to Sampath Kumar for your closing remarks. And a special thanks to PS Prabhakar ji for joining today on this most important topic for discussion. Thank you very much. Over to Sampath ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Dr. GKR and PS Prabhakar ji, for the spending of your valuable time and bringing insights to the recent developments, what is concerning a mid-sized firm to capacity building in this way or that way. That way, in that perspective, the discussion is very useful. There is a lot of things that has to be done, rightly taken. But however, this 1 hour is going to be very useful discussion, which is the hot topic of the day. And let us continue this mission in the days to come with respect to these type of things. As rightly mentioned by Prabhakar ji, there should be a open eyes to threadbare analyze these things. Thank you, Mr. Prabhakar. You are the president. You can host such a meeting to take this forward, because unless the experiences are coming to the table with respect to their own perspective, any institute or any body cannot synchronize in implementing. So in that way, let us hope for the best things to happen for the profession. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all the participants and the viewers. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Sampath.
you.